Welcome back to episode 2 of Bridget and Laura Talking, BLT. So this week we are going to be giving our review on an app. We've basically just used it for the past week to see kind of how it compares to our usual sources of news. So Bridget, you want to tell us what the app is?
Yeah, so the app's called Flipboard, and basically it's very similar to the iPhone News app in the sense that you can pick your topics and sort of follow what kind of news you're into. So, for example, we looked at following news such as local Brisbane news, technology news, and celebrity news, just for a point of difference. And there were definitely some pros and there were definitely some cons to the app. So the first thing that we realised was that it was a very polished magazine style layout, which was really good on using both the iPhone and the tablets, but it is available also for computers too.
But while I found that it was very polished, I think at the same time, the magazine, for me, it was very confusing and very cluttered, if that makes sense. And I feel like they just chucked that little flip thing in there for fun. What I expected was you'd be flipping pages, but instead you were flipping stories.
So like scrolling on Instagram.
Yeah, it was like browsing almost.
Yeah, so I guess while it looked nice, it probably wasn't as functional
as what you'd expect.
Yeah. I guess another pro of it was that it was free. So with this pro comes some cons as well, as we noticed. You can't remove the ads. So instead of being able to pay to get a version that didn't have ads in it, you have to stay with the fully free version, which is good. But I guess if you're looking at using it more regularly, you don't want to be interrupted with ads all the time.
Yeah, and like ads, no one likes them. And they also just make things messy, cluttered again. And it just kind of took away from your news experience.
Yeah, I guess it didn't make it seem as legit. Like it didn't make it seem like it was a good source of news.
It definitely made me question the quality that was coming through, which I guess brings us to our next point.
Yeah, the low quality news sources.
Yeah, so while it had heaps of stories, we found that they weren't very filtered. So they were coming from all different kinds of news sites.
So, I mean, it was good in the sense that, like we said before, you could easily discover stories based on the topics that you wanted to follow, but you weren't necessarily getting good quality news from those topics.
Yeah.
The other thing that we did think was really cool that this app had that the iPhone News app doesn't have is the social network integration. So it was really cool that you could read the news, but you could also contribute through the comment sections.
Yeah,
it was linked with Twitter, Facebook.
And we also found that there were actually quite a few comments there. So it wasn't like they just had that section there for the fun of it. People were actually engaging. Whether this was through the actual news sites or the app, I'm not too sure, because it all kind of got pushed into one. But yeah, you could share the articles, save them, obviously comment. So yeah, I think that was really good.
One thing that we thought might be a good way to sort of give you guys an idea of how these apps compare is Laura's going to use the Flipboard app and I'm going to use the iPhone News app, and we're both just going to look up local Brisbane news and just see what our first sort of 3 stories are, the sources that they come from and how they compare in terms of where they're ranked. So I've pulled up, the first story is from the Courier Mail, and it's called Spears to Host Major Future SEQ Event, and that was posted today, not all that long ago, so it was really recent. The next 2 sources I have are from the Courier Mail and the ABC, one about politics and one about the upcoming summer storm season.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so when I have typed Brisbane into Flipboard, the first thing that comes up is there's a story about looks like a sports story. It's called How Your Team Has Recruited for 2019 from 9.com.au. Okay, so another one that's quite up on the search. It's another football story, and it was posted yesterday at 10:48 p.m. And honestly, for me, when I type in Brisbane, I don't want to be seeing sports stories. I want to see what's
happening in the
Brisbane
local
news.
community.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I find that most of these are
Stories about Survivor, the TV show.
yeah, just is this Australia's coolest new hotel? And this all just seems a bit kind of comical. Almost.
Yeah, if you have 5 minutes and you need to
It's
catch
not-
up on your local news.
When we look for news, we want to catch up, especially through an app. We want to catch up quickly on what's happening
Yeah.
in the world or in Brisbane. And this is just doesn't seem like a
Yeah.
good way to do that. I
You
feel
should
like it
just
doesn't
be
sort
able
it very well.
Yeah, you should just be able to scroll through and know that they're the top 5 headlines.
Yeah, so I definitely would go to the news app over this one.
Yeah.
In terms of that, for sure.
So it pretty much sums it up for us that while Flipboard is a good app, it's not a great app, and it does have some real problems with where it ranks its news, the sources it comes from,
Yeah, it's just, I think,
overall
overall
credibility.
it's just a bit cluttered. If you wanted all this kind of stuff, you would just type it into Google.
Yeah.
The whole point of the app is to make it easier for you, to give you what you want, to give you the topics that you're interested in,
Yeah.
and the news sites that you like, not just have all these different kind of things there. I don't think that's what we were after.
Yeah.
So it's a bit disappointing.
Very. I think after a week of using it, I'd probably give it about a 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd probably give it a 3 as well.
Yeah.
Especially compared to the news app, which is already on your phone and just so much easier and cleaner to use. So.
Yeah, so that one was a thumbs down from us. But stay tuned. We're going to give you a little bit more feedback in our next podcast after we use our next app. So
yeah, very excited for that. So we'll see how it goes.
bye.